This week we received our new camera package, the Sony FX3. It was a bit of an early Christmas or late Christmas depending on how you want to think about it, since it's still January at the time of this vlog. Matt and I had spoken briefly about getting a second camera body to complement the FX6 that we got towards the end of last year. For our second camera body, we were looking for more of a hybrid camera, something that was able to shoot really high quality video, as well as take high resolution stills. I'd pitched the Sony FX2 to Matt after going to the FX2 launch event in Melbourne last year. With my short hands-on time with the Sony FX2 at the launch event, it really solidified that it would be the perfect B camera if we were ever to upgrade our Canon R5. I can't say that I was personally a fan of the Canon R5 as a hybrid camera. It took a bit of time to switch between the stills mode and the video mode, and there was this really weird issue with the image that was being output through the HDMI port, where the colors, such as the reds when shooting in C-Log, were really hyper saturated and just didn't look good. So it wasn't a really good camera to use on larger jobs when you needed to output an image to an external monitor. In addition, our 20-40-70 Mark I Canon lens, which was an absolute trooper during the years that we had it, had an aperture mechanism malfunction. And since the lens was so old, there was no replacement parts left for it, so we weren't able to get the lens repaired, which was a bit of a bummer. That and the fact that we had moved over to Sony glass made it a really good time to sell off the Canon R5 and switch camera systems to completely Sony. My thought process when putting this camera package together was to keep a very lean camera build. Basically just the camera body with maybe one or two accessories to make the shooting experience a little bit more pleasant. For power, instead of going with a V-mount solution, I opted to stick with the Sony FZ100 batteries and pick up 3 additional batteries to go along with the one that comes with the camera. To keep things charged throughout the day, I got the charger that was designed by Peter Lindgren, the Tri-Charge, as that allows you to charge 3 batteries simultaneously, as well as hold some SD cards as well, which is a really nice feature to have. For the most part, I think that being able to charge 3 batteries at the one time will allow me to keep using the battery throughout the day without having to worry about running out of power. Next was the variable ND. I decided to go with the Nisi Swift system, which has a 1 to 5 stop variable ND and an additional 4 stop ND filter, allowing you to take it all the way to 9 stops, allowing us to shoot in bright environments without having to crank the shutter speed or aperture to get the desired exposure. The last things on the list that we still have on order are the Tilter XLR extension bracket for the top handle, giving us a few more mounting points and NATO rail, as well as 2 cold shoes, which the top handle's lacking, which will allow us to easily attach any wireless receivers, as well as an external monitor, in case we wanted to view the image on something larger than the inbuilt LCD screen. The last thing I wanted to do before the week was up was to test the camera in a typical situation that I'd find myself in. I decided that the best way to do this was to film myself in my living room where my old YouTube setup used to be, in the middle of the day so that there was a lot of light coming in through those back windows, just to see how the camera held up with the highlights and what I would need to get away with exposing for this particular scene on a subject in terms of the lighting side of things.
ELZone is a really great way to test because it gives you the readouts, the plus and the minus values of stops over 18% gray. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to know the stop value rather than a arbitrary 70% or something like that.
I haven't had a huge amount of time to play around with the camera since getting it, but I really love how light the camera is and how much power is packed in such a small form factor. This is going to be such a great camera to travel with, especially when traveling interstate and internationally. Thanks for checking out this week's vlog, and I'll see you in the next one.